Hi guys, how are you? I'm Robin. Welcome back or welcome to this little world right here. This is Man for Himself. If you like men's hair tutorials, product reviews, grooming, skincare, fragrance, and more sort of bits like this, then this world is for you. Press subscribe right now. So I know that a lot of you guys are thinking about shaving your head at the moment, and others are thinking about just growing your hair out. At the moment, I'm more in this sort of grow it out camp. I'm thinking, let's just go with it, see what can be done. But it got me thinking about where do you get to once you've grown your hair out? I think it's always important with any sort of hairstyle or haircut to have a bit of inspiration to kind of know where you're going to be going with it. So I've pulled together 5 hairstyles of celebrities that you'll know that will help to give you a bit of a roadmap, a hair roadmap. Now, all of these styles are on manforhimself.com. We have a new men's hairstyle destination category page, which basically has lots of different cuts, the ones you've seen on this channel, but also ones that you've not seen. So if you want to know how to achieve them, the different products you can try at home, then that is the place for you. It'll be linked and it's also up there. Okay, I'm gonna go with, let's start with like a really extreme one. I do have a bit of a mix in this. The first one I'm gonna go with is, let's go Brad Pitt. Now, Brad Pitt has had so many different hairstyles in the past. He's done the super short sort of skinhead, he's had the medium length, he's had the longer styles, and he's a guy that can really pull anything off. In Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which was last year, we saw this really cool 70s sort of retro style, which obviously suits him. It's sort of more this sort of short bob length with loads and loads of texture. We also saw in 2013 in World War Z, he had longer hair, really sleek. One thing you'll see with Brad, and actually you'll see Brad like I'm his mate, one thing you'll see is he's actually got really fine hair. But it's in the styling that it makes it look thicker and fuller. With the style that we've got on manforhimself.com, it's all about maintaining that length. You'll see that it's obviously longer on the top, it's slightly more tapered around the ears and down onto the neck. What I really like about this is the styling. It's that high side part, which gives it loads of volume when it's kind of being pushed up and over. And this is this sort of like medium length to long hairstyle that you could definitely achieve in a couple, maybe like 6 months to a year. But I mean, Brad looks great. If you can kind of team it up with your mustache or a beard or a goatee like he's done, then even better. Okay, let's go for something which is maybe slightly easier and kind of where you might be going at the moment. This is more the sort of length that I've got, and this is the James Dean style. I absolutely love James Dean. I think he is such an icon in terms of the styling, but also his hair looks really cool. In A Rebel Without a Cause in 1955, it was a lot shorter, especially around the sides. But you can see on the picture that we've got on the site here, he does have these longer sides and it's been swept. You've almost got this kind of pomp style in the top with a bit of a quiff. Now, I have done a video about how I'm styling my hair at the moment. It's like this, and I'm actually using a few techniques where I'm loading the hair with a pre-styler plus a sea salt spray to really add that texture, and you'll get something that looks more like this. And then just with a slightly heavier product, probably more sort of oil-based product, you can sweep the hair back, but it's still gonna have all that movement. So it's not so much about being close to the head, but it's about building it up and out. Again, just keep growing your hair out. You will want to keep it really neat around the sort of details, around the ears, down onto the neck and tapering it. So if you are growing out at the moment, as soon as you can get to a barber shop, do that and just have it tidied. There's not much that needs to be done here. And this sort of hairstyle could then lead on to something like the Brad, or it could lead on to something like, I mean, ultimately, Jake Gyllenhaal. Jake Gyllenhaal, again, always looks good. These guys have got amazing faces. I mean, let's not pretend that that they couldn't wear anything. And Jake Gyllenhaal has got really sort of smooth, glossy, voluminous hair. Looking at his hair, it looks to be the sort of medium sort of thickness. It looks like it probably needs quite a lot of styling in terms of adding like a boost into it. But this is all about just keeping the hair growing out. You're gonna have some really awkward stages in this. There's gonna be times that you're gonna want to just shave it off. You know that when your hair gets to any sort of length, like this, it starts to get a bit annoying. So you'll be thinking about getting it trimmed every sort of 8 to 10 weeks when you finally can. You don't want to have too many layers. You really just want to have it as quite a bulk. If your hair is fine, like mine, then you will need to boost it in that pre-styling phase. If it's slightly thicker, then it's going to sit more naturally, and it's actually going to look better when it is that sort of second, third day unwashed hair. The greasier, the heavier look is going to look great. And it gives it more of this sort of masculine grunge vibe, which I think just works perfectly. If my hair could look like this, I would be all over it. But for me, I would all be about adding maybe a little bit of volumizing powder, like Kevin Murphy's Powder Puff, into the roots and pushing back. And it's all about letting it sit quite naturally. You could get a little bit of hairspray just to give it a bit of a hold, but I would keep it quite natural. And it's gonna look better unwashed. Okay, there's also, that's 3 of these guys, but there's also another extreme and the longest hairstyle that I've picked out for this. And this is Jared Leto. Now, Jared Leto, again, has had all these different hairstyles. He's had it sort of long and sleek and very dark, which must be a sort of natural color. It looks sometimes really unconditioned and dry, but I actually think it does suit him. Across all of these, it's often sort of parted in the center and then pulled down. You'll see in his sort of, I think this actually was about 2013, 2014, his look here with the ombre, which is basically like a dip dye, which means you've got the natural hair color and then the hair starts to get lighter and lighter. So you've got the lightest bit at the ends of the hair. The plus side of this is you're not gonna get really dirty roots, and actually the hair is gonna look better as it grows out. But you'll see in this one, they actually have layers cut in, which means it's slightly more sort of feathered around the face and it sits and frames his face. Or in these other ones, the hair has just literally been pushed back. For this is a one sort of length all the way around. So when you do get into barber or a hairdresser, it's just gonna be a case of getting those ends cut. Just because you're growing your hair, it doesn't mean you don't want to cut it. You need to keep it healthy, you need to keep it neat. So again, that might be once every 2 months, 2.5, and then when it's longer, maybe 3 months to get it done. But again, you're gonna have all these awkward stages. There's loads of different products will work perfectly on this, and the products have been added onto each of these pages. Sea salt sprays, mousses will work perfectly. Nothing too heavy, but stuff that's just gonna start to give it a bit of structure. Layering products like I've done here with the pre-styler and the sea salt spray, and then maybe a little bit, like the tiniest bit of powder, or less of the clay, because clay might weigh it down, but maybe something more like a putty or a cream just to sort of coat the outside of the hair and give it a bit of movement would work perfectly. And my final one here is representing all you guys with sort of naturally curly to wavy hair. And this is Timothée Chalamet. Now, he has had like a rise to stardom, and he seems to be everywhere in terms of the red carpet. He's young enough to be able to sort of pull off these cool looks and kind of mixing up that formal look. But it's his grooming that I really, really like. He's naturally got this sort of wavy to slightly curly hair, so it looks really great when it's longer. If you're a guy that's got more sort of coarse or dense and curly hair, you're gonna know that when it's got this sort of medium length, it's not gonna sit that well. It either needs to be super short or to have the weight of length in order to allow those curls to let it do its thing. He often has it done on a sort of side part, then the hair again is sort of pushed over. It's a bit more like a curly version of the Brad Pitt one that I showed. This again is all about keeping it maintained and keeping it just trimmed when you go and see your barber. It's about maximizing those curls that you naturally have and using products that are going to help to do that. So like I've picked out here the American Crew Fiber Grooming Foam, which is a fibrous product which comes out like a foam, so it goes in. You can then work a hairdryer to really get that volume in. You could also then use a diffuser. So a diffuser is the end that goes on to the hairdryer. What this is going to do is it's basically going to spread out that air. Instead of pointing it directly like a hairdryer would normally do, this is going to put the air across the whole of the head and just give a more even distribution. From there, you can then work in some of those curls, or you could just let it dry naturally. In any of this really, I would say if you do have curly hair and you care about your hair, go and see a barber who knows what they're doing with it. It's different in terms of the way it's being cut. So if you see a guy on the street whose hair you like, don't be shy to go up to him and say, where'd you get your hair cut? Because it just means you've got someone who is gonna know what they're doing. It is so important. You'll also see in these pages too some sort of top tips about maybe asking to get the bulk removed. It could be really, really heavy, so actually just chopping into it slightly should be able to help. But you don't want anything too much in terms of point cutting because it could just start to look a little bit off. These styles are all on manfromself.com, what to ask your barber plus how to at home, and as soon as we've got any sort of videos around these styles, we can put them up. All the ones that have been shot in Man From Self HQ, and so we've got so many of them now, you can see the videos in there and also any sort of top tips along with the products. So I would say if you are considering the long hair, now is the time to do it. Stick it out, honestly, it will be worth it. I'm so tempted to do it, I just don't think it's really gonna suit my face shape. I say that, I hate when someone says, oh, what should this be for my face shape, will this suit me? It's all about having a confidence and it's all about just pulling it off. So experiment with it, see how you feel, and stick it out. That is my trio of top tips there. But thank you very much for watching. If there's any sort of key hairstyles you want to see on the channel or on the site, then let me know. I'll see what we can do, pull some barbers in as soon as we can get back out into the wider world. We'll get them in and we'll do them. Also, there is more on screen here that'll take you to the hairstyle pages. My Instagram is up there. Come and follow, come and say hi. I'll be doing more live soon too. Subscribe is there. And oh, there's another video there. But I'll see you in my next new video. Bye-bye.